seen like old fuses? Old fuse boxes?
I know. I only know about new ones and how they work and everything. I don't know anything about old fuses.
Dude, very, very funny. Sometime, look it up. Very cool.
I'll do so.
Yeah, they were single use. So, okay. I confess to not washing my dishes for months because I'm always working. Only God can judge you. We can't judge you for that. We judge only Texans, and it doesn't sound like you've committed any. This would be a dish sin.
It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
Go talk to like a dish angel and a dish priest, okay? That's who can judge you for that. However, I will say, as a fellow thing doer, with little time for washing dishes, just don't own any dishes. Literally, 1 bowl, 1 spoon. That's all you need. Don't own more dishes than that. That way, you can't have dirty dishes. Because, when you need to eat tomorrow, you have to wash your bowl and you have to wash your spoon. Anyway.
I do have something to confess.
Yes?
Where I'm living right now, but where I was living beforehand, I had a roommate, right? Mm-hmm. And we had like four cups and 4 plates and literally 4 of everything. He always used he was cooking a bunch of stuff, and I mean his food wasn't great at all. But he was always cooking a bunch of stuff, and he was using a bunch of dishes and not washing them after. And to be fair, he also washed the dishes most of the time, but usually our sink would be piled up. So what I ended up doing was I used to go to this takeout place that was near our house, near where we were living, and there were a bunch of takeout places. I started asking them for like wooden cutlery from there and like a paper plate, so I could take that home and eat using those, and then throw them away. So that I didn't need to wash the dishes.
Honestly, fair. If you're living with someone and they're not doing the dishes, then sure. But my solution was just that when I had a roommate, they weren't allowed to use my bowl or spoon, and I wasn't allowed to use their dishes. And if their dishes piled up, I still have my 1 bowl and my 1 spoon, so I'm fine.
Yeah, but when you want to go and wash that bowl or spoon, if the sink is full, then
just wash them in the bathroom.
You're still gonna. If the sink is large enough, then yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's just 1 bowl and 1 spoon, so easy.
There's some bathroom sinks that do not fit 1 bowl. There's some bathroom sinks that are like this big.
Huh.
Oh, you can't see this, but like very very small. Mm-hmm. Just wash it in the toilet. Yeah, I heard the toilet is the best.
the true, yeah.
Dishwasher experience.
Move. Okay.
I made the shittiest heart rate sensor code. This does not seem shitty.
Yeah. Wait, let me open it, because I haven't actually opened it yet, but, no, God, okay. Why doesn't it download?
This is Arduino, right?
Let me see, I haven't opened it yet.
Looks like Arduino.
Why is it called neurosama.png? Okay. Okay, so they declare their IR pin, they declare their LED pin, they find their interval for sampling. Okay, that's their last time that they sampled. I don't know why they would need that. Let's see. Heart rate is 0. Okay. Pin mode, setting their LED to output, etc. This is their baud rate, whatever. Heart rate monitor initialized. Great. Okay. Then in their loop,
they have
store 200 samples, so 2 milliseconds per sample because we set that before. Okay, if we're over our sample time, sample again. There are ways of doing this that are better, but whatever. And then write the pin high. Analog read IR pin. Okay, yeah, no, this is fine. I mean, this is just a way of doing it manually. I wouldn't write it exactly this way, right? There's ways of doing this more efficiently. But in terms of just like hard code, there's nothing that bad about this.
The only thing I noticed is the static variables inside of the loop. That's the only thing I noticed. But I don't know how popular using those is in general, as someone who doesn't really do that much C or C++.
Yeah, this is fine.
Yeah, can you even have static locals in C? Is that even a thing that you can do in C, or is it a C++ thing?
That's a C++ thing, but
Okay. Also, this isn't even either of those languages.
yeah,
this
it is Arduino C, which is its own sort of guy, a different guy. A few months ago, my old toilet brush broke after 30 years of service. Christ. My mom bought me another one, but it didn't have the cap that closed the cup you store it in, so I had to 3D print one. A fine job, I must say. I am proud of it, and I show it to guests who come to my house. Stop doing what you're doing. Stop doing what you're doing.
Hold on. A few months ago, my old toilet brush broke after 30 years of service.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I'm just gonna say, if you're old enough that you've had a toilet brush for 30 years, your mom should not be in charge of buying you a toilet brush.
I don't think that's a problem. I think, how do you use the same toilet brush for 30 years?
Mm-hmm.
That toilet brush was old enough to have kids, bro.
Yeah, that toilet brush could have almost been president. So sad that it died in its prime. But yeah, so then their mom had to get them a new toilet brush. They were incapable of doing this themselves.
Okay, but what if their family? Well, what if the toilet brush was a family heirloom, right?
Family heirloom. I don't know. I'm looking at the new one, and I'm gonna say it doesn't look. The new one doesn't look like it intends to be a family heirloom. This just looks like a pretty basic toilet brush with, I might say, a fine cap. A fine cap you've printed onto this toilet brush. The sinful part of this story isn't that you printed a cap for your toilet brush. I think that's great. Although I will say, I don't know if I would want a cap on my toilet brush because it would make it harder for it to dry between uses, and that kind of grosses me out.
Is it supposed to dry?
Oh no.
What do you mean, oh no?
Why would you say that?
What did I say?
No, you don't want to just...
bro. I'm joking, bro.
Okay. Okay.
I thought I did not expect you to take that seriously.
Nice. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay. Oh my god, wait, was that the last one? Bro, we actually did it.
We had 10 more. We had 10
we have 10 more. But I can't believe we actually did it. Like, last time we only got through 40. Okay, so we were on 52, and we have to go up to 61. We have 9 left.
MATLAB banned us.
Mm-hmm. Have you worked in MATLAB at all?
No, I've never worked in MATLAB. I don't really like math, so any kind of product that has math in the title is something that repulses me.
Well, it doesn't. It only has mat. That could be anything. That could be any number of words. It could be for Matthew Lab. MATLAB really isn't meant to run 4 threads? No, it is not! 2 of which with their own Python interpreters! Of which one running a GUI. We had to do some magic to make that work, but it worked, and our system won. At this point, why wouldn't you just, like, get the calculations from MATLAB, and then, why would you have, like, the heart and soul of this thing running in MATLAB? Why wouldn't you just have, like, a Python program that runs some calculations in MATLAB, instead of having this be, like, MATLAB, like all MATLAB with Python interpreters? Why would you do this? Why would you do this? MATLAB is not meant to support 4 threads. Okay, very silly. Yeah, why not? Okay, I know that it's NumPy, but I always say NumPy because I think it's cuter. I like to imagine that its name is Numpy and it's like a little guy, and it brings me my data. So
NumPy is not a little guy. NumPy is like when I think about NumPy, I think like one of those gym bros, like those jacked up gym bros.
What?
Listening to. Well, NumPy is not a cute little guy.
I always pictured Numpy as like a cute little creature, and I'm like, hey Numpy, can you do this with my data for me? And then he brings it back, and it's all in his weird special format, like it's wet, like when a dog gets the newspaper and he brings it back and it's got his spit all over it, and you're just like, oh, thanks Numpy, great job, you know?
What do you mean? What do you mean it's some little format?
No, in his gross weird format, he brings it back to me, and I'm just like, thanks Numpy, great job.
NumPy arrays and matrices and everything. It's on a weird little format. It's a great format.
But you always have to put it back in something else depending on what you're using. Like you're never just like, oh great, I'll just output this NumPy array, you know?
I do. No, I open the NumPy array. Usually, I use what I do with a NumPy array is pass it back to NumPy regardless. So when I do have to output it's just an array. It's just as good as a regular array.
Well, but for any visualization that you'd be using, and like basically anything that would be expecting this data back at the end, they're not expecting it back as a NumPy array. Just ask
If you're
pandas
making
to
an
make it neat.
API,
Exactly. Yeah,
then
pandas can
no.
fix my problems for me. Thank you, pandas. Anyway.
I know it wasn't meant to be used like this, but still. What did they upload?
What did they upload? Pegboard. Oh.
At some point, I took this metal plate, part of a desk, home from the university's trash to use as a pegboard. I recently discovered that while the vertical hole distances are 29 millimeters, the horizontal distances are inconsistent.
No!
Even worse, the thing is, it's almost symmetrical with 30 millimeters on both sides and 30 millimeters and 29 millimeters alternating in the middle. The only difference is that on the left, there is 31 millimeters plus 29.
Well, honestly, it looks like you really made it work. Like, it's annoying to make, like, things that need multiple pegs, but I don't know. You got some tools hanging there. You could hang more tools. You wouldn't have to do any math to do that. This seems fine. This seems fine.
I mean, if the problem is just the distance between the holes, then that's just a you problem. I wouldn't mind a pegboard that had it inconsistent.
Yeah, some
spacing.
pegboard better than no pegboard, and currently no pegboard.
Exactly.
Okay. Let's see. This one is consistency. Is what it's called. I made a wiki for the TTRPG I'm running. It is Markdown powered, but with a bunch of extensions that all use completely different syntax, and now it's a huge mess. Incredible. Okay. So, yeah, you just have to use different formats for everything. Gross, and I'm sorry.
The people who actually edit wikis are so based.
Yeah,
genuinely.
I know. That's like the coolest kind of guy.
So what do we have? Inclusion tags. It's Markdown powered. You made a bunch of extensions. There's completely different syntax. Okay, so this doesn't use the OpenWiki format, right, or whatever it's called.
No.
Was it called OpenWiki?
Yeah, no, it's using like sort of a weird kind of extra Markdown.
Wiki. Yeah, it was called Wikimedia, or something.
No, Wikimedia is the isn't the format. It's the
So wait, the format was OpenWiki, right?
Yeah.
No, Wikitext. It was called Wikitext.
Just kept on adding things. Incredible. Okay, so this one is don't worry, I barely have a clue what's happening myself. Oh god. This is the brainfuck interpreter written in extended brainfuck. I refuse to open this. I'm very impressed that you did this. We have nothing to gain from looking at it. Yeah.
A brainfuck interpreter written in brainfuck.
Good lord. I had a debug directive, saves comments, and shorthands, but it's basically still BF and an easy way to cross-compile. This feels like a sin, at the very least. It was an act of treason against my free time. I'm very impressed, but also not strictly a sin. I mean, I have no way of knowing if the code is good or bad because it's in BrainFrick, and I can't intuitively sense whether code is good or bad in BrainFrick.
That is the funniest way to censor the language.
Shut up. So, multifunctional power chord. Let's look at it.
Hold on. Before I have one thing to say before we go to the next one. I think that doing a project like this for absolutely zero reason, because I can guarantee there is zero reason behind this project.
No one has ever asked for this. Yeah.
Yeah, but doing a project like this for zero reason, just to flex your abilities,
Yeah.
is a power move. I think it's a power move. Just to flex how good you are doing a project like this.
Yeah.
I think that's a power move, and I respect that.
Yeah, I think that makes you pretty dang cool, man. So, my monitor stand was made for a heavy monitor, so the spring is too strong, keeps the monitor all the way up, so I tied it down with the power cord. Not my favorite, but you're your own creature. As long as it works, and as long as the tension is provided by a part of the cord that, you know, isn't, like, attached to something, right? Like, as long as it isn't that you're holding it down, like, by where it plugs in, this seems fine. That cord is fairly strong, and that's not exerting enough pressure to kink it or anything, so, yeah, I'm good with that.
I think still using the power cord, like he could have used anything else. He could
Yeah,
have used the
another
zip
cord
ties
would
or
work
something.
better.
Or another cord. He didn't have to use the power cord for this.
I would agree. I also used paper clips to mount the high power LEDs. Well, I hate that. Okay, let's see. Oh no. The sensor was too fragile to mount permanently deployed, so I made it deployable by mounting it with a single paper clip. Bonus sin, I made the hole for the paperclip with a paperclip wrapped around a soldering iron, and the hole for the sensor in the wooden cover with the wire clipper. Okay, well, I wouldn't typically suggest that. You know that there are other... You could just use wire. You could just use any other kind of wire. It doesn't have to be a paperclip. You know that they make wire on, like, spools, right?
Yeah, but they had the paperclip on hand, so I wouldn't use the paperclip.
No reason. I guess you're right. I'm really the fool here. Very good job. Excellent work. Definitely good engineering. Okay, I will use anything for unintended purposes, even if I made the thing myself, is the title of this one. Let's see it. See it? Making a synthesizer, then immediately using sawtooth waves and a phase modulation of 0 Hz, square wave oscillators to make a 3-bit binary counter. Then adding adders for NOT gates and amplifiers for AND gates, and constructing a one-hot, oh my gosh, 8-bit counter. Also, you can play the Peter Gunn theme from Blues Brothers with a bass backtrack. These logic gates did not exist at the time. I added them precisely for this reason. Okay, so I'm just going to show you this, just like the graphic that describes what's happening here. So again, they're doing more bizarre waveform math and modulation. And this is what it looks like, what they're doing. So here are our gates, right? And here's what we're looking at here.
Do you know what we're looking at? Because I don't. I'm more than a bit lost on this.
Basically, we're using waveform math to make an 8-bit counter, so that, I guess, to add a bass backtrack? I don't totally understand how that's happening, but yeah. Just analog sound design, just signal processing. It's wild to look at, man. But I am impressed. Okay. The 3D pen assembly was my chemistry clamp because it was so bulky. I have no idea what this means at this point. Okay. When you build a LEGO Mindstorms 3D printer, but you need all your 3 motor ports for the XYZ axes, and still need to turn the 3D pen on and off. I'm not really getting what's happening from this picture.
Me neither, actually. If I get this correctly, they needed an extra port. They didn't have enough ports, so they did something.
Ah, I see. Okay, so this is the janky part. Okay, so they didn't have a port left over for their 3D pen, their extruder. And so they have a rubber band that pulls the lever against the button, a button on the 3D printing pen, and the pen tip is for keeping the lever off the button. Okay, so the really cursed part of this is their assembly around their extruder, which is a 3D pen.
What? How does anyone think of this?
Yeah. Nah, they're using the pen as the T flip flop. So there you go. Wow. I mean, that is pretty cursed. Again, I don't know if it's a sin if it worked. Did it work? That's what I need to know. Okay, this one, the text is very ominous. We just have, this thing would misbehave if you got too close with your hands sometimes. Oh, he made us some spaghetti. Do you want some spaghetti?
I mean, look at the middle. Look at the middle image, though. The middle image is so. How do I put this?
Design project, and for the game we needed external memory. This is what it looked like. This is what the external memory looked like.
If you don't look at the first and third images and just look at the second one, I think it looks very visually pleasing. The second image.
Okay.
I think it looks visually pleasing. Like all of the wires are the correct length.
2 shorts because I was soldering in dim light, so we only got it working for a few hours for the presentation. Wow. It also revealed a bug we managed to fix just in time. Well, again, I am impressed that this worked at all. This is a nightmare to look at. The first picture is more of a nightmare than the second two, although they're all pretty rough. Again, this is a case of an entire breadboard shoved inside a project. Yeah, wow. Back in the day, we had wire wrapping and we were happy. Listen, wire wrapping is actually, in some ways, more stable than breadboarding if you're doing a good job of it. So, okay, next one. I believe this is our last one. Ever heard of code names? No. Okay, so here's a state machine. This piece of code maps the structure of a state machine. Okay, let me hide this one. Created by using my own library. It does so by looking at all the methods used as event bindings and scanning their code attribute for the names that are also methods used for states. Okay, wait. So it looks at all the methods used as event bindings and then scans their code attribute for the names that are also methods used for states. Okay. If it finds the name of a state, it assumes that there is a connection from the bound state to the mentioned state for the event type. So this is a kind of hacky way of doing a state machine where they're just kind of looking for the names of states. Yeah, I mean, not ideal. Can't expect you to make a PCB for an 8-week project. I can't, but I can expect you to, like, lay that out on one board just more neatly, you know? Using Python internals. Here, wait, let me pull this up. Let me pull this up on stream.
I don't understand which part of this is a sin.
What?
They're just using code. I don't understand which part of this is a sin. Using Python internal it's not a sin. You know, if they didn't want you to use Python internals, they wouldn't have made them accessible in any way.
I don't know if they should be used for this. It seems like there's better ways to do this, to figure out what state to enter. The nested loops, yeah, there are. We are looking at a bunch of, yeah, 4. Yeah, we've got 4 nested for loops. So, you know, if nothing else is a sin, that is. So that's all of them. What do you think overall? Do you think chat can be forgiven?
I think so.
Do you think they can be forgiven?
Honestly, the I don't think any of the ones we read today were sins. I think the biggest sin we had was taking the battery to school.
Yeah, that was definitely the biggest sin we've seen.
And that was on the parents' and not the kid.
Yeah, that's a curious kid who should have been told not to touch that. So
It was really interesting reading, especially stuff from like FRC.
Yeah.
because there are some things that I can relate to. Not that I've done specifically, but that I've seen other people do as well. And there's just some other submissions that I was looking at them, and then I had absolutely no idea what I was looking at.
Yeah, I mean, for me too. It was really educational. Like I don't know. You are a very experienced software engineer, and I learned a lot from you.
I'm glad to hear that, but I don't think I taught you anything.
You did.
Well, did I?
Did I teach you anything? Be honest.
So what? The only thing that I did learn is that you're supposed to cook bugs to preserve them.
Well, I taught you something. We'll take it as a win.
That's the main thing I learned. I learned about bug taxidermy.
So, would you want to do this again sometime?
I would like to do this again sometime. Yeah. There's just so many different fields here.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there were some things that we overlapped in terms of the scenes that were submitted, and other things like I was looking at it and I was like, damn, this person's smart, because I have no idea. This is just my default my default state of mind. If I look at something and I have no idea I'm looking at, damn, the person who does this has to be smart. Or no, let me rephrase. Seems smart.
I just
Seems
assume
smart.
I'm dumb
Let me rephrase.
when I look at something and don't understand.
You just assume you're dumb. Instead of projecting that inwards, you should project that outwards. I think.
And just be like,
I think
that's the
you
smartest guy in the world.
Yeah. That person's really smart.
I like that.
That's what I think.
That's the biggest takeaway. That's the biggest thing we've learned today. So, Cerber is doing her 2-year anniversary stream. Do you want to rate into her?
Rate her. Yes.
Okay, nice. Let's go rate her. I think she's doing like this trucking sim thing. I think I'm supposed to be on it later, but I don't actually know. I need to write to her and see. I love her. Okay, let's go rate Cerber. Let's hang out again sometime. And honestly, do anything, dude. Whatever you want. Okay.
Whatever you want.
Oh, thanks. Okay.
But I mean, this is a problem that we've had for a while.
I don't know, man. You could consult on my VTuber headgear project when I finally get back to that.
I don't know what that is, honestly.
Oh, I'm making like a sort of a wearable device to track some things that are hard to track just with cameras.
Oh, you mean like motion tracking?
Not just motion.
Or
so, temperature, pulse, etc. Sweatiness. Tears, which I have a thing for, which I can explain at some point. Stuff like that.
Wait, hold on. Tear tracking?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wouldn't that make it... so you have to actually cry? Yeah,
to track if I cry or not. And I wanted to put prox sensors on the shoulders, and then I could just, obviously using the difference between them, to detect shrugging. Because right now my shrugging is detected with camera, and it's not that good. It's not that good. Mm-hmm. So, I want to do that better.
Yep. I mean, using sensors to track crying is something that I never expected I would have heard, ever. Isn't that a bit too much effort, though?
No, it's really easy. So basically, you just have an arm that rests against the face, right? And then you would have 2 contacts on it, and if those contacts are connected, it's by a tear.
That does not seem that...
What else would connect them?
Hold on. Well, there's nothing else that would connect them, but that means the tear would have to follow, you have to find where your tear channel on your face, basically.
No, because it would sweep all the way across my cheek. So it would rest all the way against my cheek, and that's the only place tears go.
That doesn't seem comfortable.
Yeah, whatever,
that's
man.
Right,
We suffer for the art.
Comfortable. It doesn't seem that comfortable. For like the one time you're gonna cry like once per month or once every 2 or 3 months, it doesn't sound comfortable to do that every day.
You underestimate how often I cry.
I might. I don't know how often you cry.
If you touched it with your finger, would that make you cry? Well, yes, but why would I touch it with my finger?
What if you have an itch or something? You just want to scratch your face.
Then I can explain to chat, if this accidentally triggers my tears for a second, I'm just scratching my cheek. And then that's fine. So yeah, I'm
Okay.
using GSR for sweatiness, but that's going to be 2 contacts on the forehead. So I'm not going to be using GSR for tears because again, sweat could trigger it. The reason why I'm doing this arm design is that it's in a place where sweat doesn't often bead and drip. And also, I'm rarely like sweating to the point where it's beading and dripping. But this would only detect a liquid that was like beading and dripping like tears do. So that's why I'm not using GSR for tears because it would, I think, detect sweat. So yeah.
I'm flabbergasted here. I don't know the context of any of this.
I love
So I'm a bit
VTubing. I love
flabbergasted.
VTubers. I love to be a VTuber. Okay, let's go raid server.
Alright.
Yeah, hang out anytime, dude. Okay. Server VT.
I started the raid on my end.
Oh, okay, I'm doing it now.
Oh, we can.
No, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
Alright.
Let's go, everybody. Okay, we're raiding now.
Now? Did
Yeah.
you press the button?
I just pressed the button.
I pressed the button too.
Nice. Nice. Go team.
Alright. I'm ending stream.
Yeah, I'm also ending stream. That was really fun, dude.